Well, police authorities believe actor Gene Hackman may have died 9 days before he and his wife Betsy Arakawa were found dead inside their home in Santa.
This is so mysterious. They're in 3 separate areas. Yeah. Gene Hackman, his wife, the dog.
We'll be analyzing cell phone data, phone calls, text messages.
There have been a lot of theories about what happened inside that house.
Are they moving at all?
No, dude, they're not moving.
Gene Hackman's private mansion has always been a place of intrigue, but recent reports have revealed something unexpected beneath its foundations: an underground tunnel. This discovery has sparked widespread speculation, with many wondering why the tunnel was built, what purpose it served, and whether Hackman himself had a role in its construction. Throughout history, underground tunnels and luxury estates have been associated with secrecy, security, and exclusivity. Some are built as private escape routes, while others are designed for storage, concealed access points, or even hidden meeting spaces. In Hackman's case, there is no public record confirming why this tunnel exists, but its mere presence has raised countless questions. Was it part of a previous structure, or did Hackman have it built for personal reasons? Hackman, known for his private lifestyle, rarely spoke about his estate, making it difficult to determine if this tunnel was something he actively used. However, its existence suggests deliberate planning and investment, indicating that it was not an accidental addition to the property. As experts investigate, some believe that the tunnel could have been designed for emergency purposes, especially considering that many high-profile celebrities take extra measures to ensure their safety and privacy. Others suggest that the tunnel might have served a more practical function, such as connecting different parts of the estate or providing a discreet route for staff or deliveries. The lack of official documentation about the tunnel only adds to the mystery. Whether it was meant for security, secrecy, or convenience, one thing is certain: this underground passage is now a subject of intrigue. As new details emerge, speculation continues over what role it played in Hackman's life and why it remained undiscovered for so long. The existence of an underground tunnel in Gene Hackman's mansion raises important questions about its origin and purpose. To understand why such a feature might exist, it is useful to look at the history of underground tunnels in private estates and luxury mansions. These passageways have been used for centuries, serving a range of purposes from security and privacy to convenience and storage. Throughout history, wealthy estate owners and high-profile figures have incorporated tunnels into their properties. In medieval times, castles and large estates often had hidden escape routes, designed to provide an alternative exit in case of sieges or attacks. These underground passages allowed royalty and aristocrats to move discreetly without being seen. In the early 20th century, underground tunnels were commonly built in the estates of industrialists and celebrities who valued privacy and security. Some were used for secret transportation, allowing individuals to enter and leave without public attention. Others were designed to connect different buildings on the estate, reducing exposure to the outside world. In the United States, Prohibition-era mansions, 1920s to 1930s, frequently had hidden tunnels to store alcohol and allow access to hidden speakeasies. Additionally, some homes built during the Cold War period included bunker-like underground spaces as a precaution against potential nuclear threats. Modern-day tunnels in celebrity homes are often associated with security concerns. With the increasing number of intrusions and paparazzi pressures, high-profile individuals sometimes invest in concealed exits or passageways for safety. Some also use them for practical reasons, such as underground garages, temperature-controlled wine cellars, or access to guest houses. If the tunnel in Hackman's mansion was built as part of the original design, it could have historical significance, serving a function long before he purchased the property. Alternatively, if it was added later, it may have been created for personal security, convenience, or privacy reasons. As experts continue examining the structure, its design and construction timeline may provide further clues. Whether Hackman actively used the tunnel or simply inherited it as part of the estate, its presence is not unusual given the history of underground structures in high-value properties. Understanding the underground tunnel in Gene Hackman's mansion requires looking at the overall layout and key features of his estate. Hackman, who spent his later years in Santa Fe, New Mexico, lived in a secluded property that reflected his preference for privacy and quiet living. Unlike the extravagant mansions of many Hollywood celebrities, his estate was known for being practical, comfortable, and architecturally distinct from the traditional celebrity homes found in places like Beverly Hills. The mansion itself is spacious and designed to blend with the natural landscape of New Mexico. Many homes in the region follow a southwestern architectural style, characterized by adobe walls, earth-toned exteriors, and open courtyards. Hackman's property featured large, panoramic windows, high ceilings, and multiple outdoor spaces that complemented the surrounding desert scenery. One of the standout aspects of the estate was its expansive land area, which allowed for various extensions and private additions. This is significant when considering the existence of an underground tunnel. Large estates often include subterranean features for practical reasons, such as wine cellars, storage areas, or private access routes between buildings. Given Hackman's private nature, it is possible that his estate included hidden pathways that were not publicly disclosed. Reports suggest that the underground tunnel is connected to a secondary building on the property, possibly a guest house, storage facility, or additional living space. This would indicate that it served a functional purpose rather than being a purely decorative or security-driven feature. Additionally, real estate experts have noted that some older properties in the region have hidden structures built decades ago, meaning the tunnel may have been present before Hackman acquired the home. If this is the case, it could have originally been used for maintenance, transportation between sections of the estate, or even as part of an older security measure. As investigators continue examining the estate, more details may emerge about how Hackman's mansion was designed and whether the underground tunnel was a personal addition or a pre-existing feature. Understanding its placement within the estate's layout is crucial to determining its true purpose and function. With Gene Hackman's mansion layout now understood, the question arises as to whether the underground tunnel was built for security or privacy reasons. Many high-profile individuals, including actors, politicians, and business figures, invest in additional security measures to ensure their safety, and underground tunnels have historically been used as escape routes or discreet passageways. Given Hackman's private nature, it is reasonable to consider whether this tunnel was intended as a protective feature. Hackman lived a quiet and reclusive life in his later years, preferring to stay away from Hollywood and public attention. While he was not known to have been the target of major security threats, it is common for wealthy individuals to take precautions in securing their property. Some mansions include panic rooms, surveillance systems, gated perimeters, and underground exits to provide alternative routes in case of an emergency. If Hackman's estate had an extensive land area, the tunnel could have been designed as a secondary exit leading away from the main residence. Security experts have pointed out that underground tunnels are often used to minimize exposure, especially for those who prefer not to be seen entering or leaving their homes. Some luxury properties include hidden driveways, concealed garages, or private tunnels to ensure that movement in and out of the property remains undetected. If Hackman's tunnel connects to a separate building on the estate, it may have served a similar purpose, allowing discrete movement between structures without requiring outdoor exposure. Additionally, the tunnel may have been part of a larger security strategy. Some estates incorporate underground routes for staff movement, reducing visibility and maintaining privacy for the homeowner. If Hackman employed staff, the tunnel could have been a functional part of estate operations, allowing for movement between sections of the property without disrupting the household. Another consideration is whether the tunnel was built before Hackman's ownership and simply remained as part of the estate's design. If previous owners had security concerns, they may have incorporated a hidden passage for emergency use, which Hackman later inherited when he purchased the home. While there is no confirmed evidence that Hackman used the tunnel for security purposes, its existence aligns with common practices seen in high-value estates where privacy and safety are priorities. Further examination of the tunnel's structure and layout may provide additional clues about whether it was intended as a protective feature or had another functional use. Given the possible security and privacy considerations, another important factor to examine is whether the underground tunnel in Gene Hackman's mansion existed for historical or practical reasons. Many luxury estates, particularly older properties, have architectural elements that serve functions beyond security, including storage, transportation, and preservation. If Hackman's tunnel was not specifically designed for protection, It could have had a more functional purpose tied to the estate's history or daily operations. Some underground tunnels in large estates were originally constructed for practical use, such as wine cellars, hidden storage areas, or maintenance access points. Many historic properties feature subterranean corridors that connect different parts of the estate, allowing staff or service personnel to move discreetly without disrupting the household. If Hackman's mansion had multiple buildings or goose houses, the tunnel may have been designed to link these areas efficiently. Additionally, in regions with harsh weather conditions or extreme temperatures, underground structures provide a stable, climate-controlled environment. If Hackman's tunnel was part of a pre-existing estate feature, it might have been used to store perishable goods, sensitive documents, or even artwork that required protection from the elements. Another possibility is that the tunnel predates Hackman's ownership and was simply maintained as part of the property's infrastructure. Some estates, especially those built in the early 20th century, were designed with hidden passages for transportation or supply movement. If the tunnel was built decades before Hackman acquired the home, it may have originally served a completely different purpose that was later adapted for modern use. If Hackman or a previous owner modified the estate, the tunnel could have been renovated or expanded to fit new needs, such as housing mechanical systems, providing discrete entryways, or connecting private quarters. While there is no confirmed evidence of how frequently the tunnel was used, its presence suggests that it was an intentional part of the estate's design rather than an accidental architectural feature. As more details about the property's history and layout emerge, experts may uncover whether this underground passage was a relic of the past or a practical asset that continued to serve a functional purpose during Hackman's ownership. With the possibility that the underground tunnel in Gene Hackman's mansion had historical or practical functions, another perspective that has gained attention is whether it was connected to any hidden purposes or secretive activities. While many underground structures are built for security, convenience, or estate management, tunnels have also been associated with private gatherings, exclusive meetings, and concealed operations throughout history. In some cases, wealthy estate owners have constructed underground rooms and passageways to maintain discretion in their activities. Private clubs, high-profile guests, and even business dealings have, at times, taken place in secluded areas to avoid public scrutiny. While there is no evidence linking Hackman's estate to any secret societies, historical records show that many mansions with underground structures have been used for undisclosed gatherings or confidential discussions. Additionally, certain underground spaces have been used in politically or socially sensitive times as meeting places for elite groups, scholars, or influential figures. In earlier centuries, hidden chambers and tunnels were often designed to serve as shelters, confidential meeting areas, or protected storage locations. Some estates included concealed pathways for moving valuable documents, artworks, or assets between properties without public knowledge. If Hackman's estate had a history prior to his ownership, it is possible that the tunnel was originally built with such intentions in mind. Another possibility is that the underground passage was designed for privacy concerning visitors or business interactions. While Hackman was known for his reclusive lifestyle, high-profile individuals often have associates, investors, or acquaintances who prefer private spaces for discussions or negotiations. If the tunnel led to a separate building, study, or concealed room, it may have been intended to provide a confidential setting for meetings away from the main residence. Forensic architects and real estate analysts often look at construction patterns, hidden doors, and structural modifications to determine whether underground spaces had alternative purposes beyond their immediate function. If Hackman's tunnel had reinforced walls, ventilation, or security measures, this could indicate that it was intended for a purpose beyond storage or transportation. While there is no confirmed connection between Hackman's tunnel and any secretive activities, its design and placement within the estate may offer clues to its original function and how it was used over time. Further examination of property records and past renovations could provide more clarity regarding whether this underground feature was purely practical or if it had a more exclusive purpose within the estate. Following discussions about the potential historical, practical, or private uses of the underground tunnel, real estate and architectural experts have examined how such a structure fits into the overall design of Gene Hackman's estate. Experts specializing in luxury properties and historic estates note that underground tunnels are not uncommon in high-value homes, particularly those built on large plots of land where additional security, privacy, and logistical efficiency are priorities. Architectural analysts emphasize that the tunnel's design, materials, and structural elements can provide insight into its original purpose. For instance, reinforced concrete walls, proper ventilation systems, and lighting fixtures suggest that the passage was intended for regular use rather than being an abandoned or forgotten part of the estate. If the tunnel has directed airflow or temperature regulation, this could indicate it was used for storage, private access, or controlled access between buildings. Real estate professionals also highlight how underground tunnels can impact property value. Some buyers see them as a rare and valuable feature, particularly if they enhance security or add functional space to the estate. However, if the tunnel was originally built for an outdated purpose, such as Prohibition-era storage or Cold War-era safety concerns, it may hold historical significance rather than modern utility. Investigators looking into Hackman's estate records are examining whether the tunnel was constructed during his ownership or if it was a feature inherited from a previous property owner. If modifications were made during his time on the estate, this may indicate that he found the tunnel useful enough to maintain or upgrade. The final assessment from experts suggests that while the tunnel may have been part of an earlier architectural plan, its existence within Hackman's mansion aligns with design trends seen in private estates, where privacy, security, and historical preservation often influence structural choices. After examining various possibilities surrounding the underground tunnel in Gene Hackman's mansion, experts suggest that its construction was likely influenced by multiple factors rather than a single purpose. Based on architectural assessments, historical trends, and estate records, the tunnel appears to be a deliberate feature rather than an accidental or forgotten part of the property. The most plausible explanation is that the tunnel was built either as part of an older estate layout or incorporated for practical and security-related purposes. If it predates Hackman's ownership, it may have originally been used for logistical needs, such as connecting different parts of the property, housing mechanical systems, or serving as discrete storage space. If Hackman himself made modifications or retained the tunnel in its original form, it suggests that he found it valuable enough to keep intact. While speculation about hidden purposes or secretive activities has gained attention, no confirmed records suggest that the tunnel was used for anything beyond privacy, convenience, or estate management. Similar underground structures in high-profile residences have served both functional and security-driven roles, making it unsurprising that Hackman's property contains such a feature. In the end, whether the tunnel was an inherited relic of the past or an intentionally designed aspect of the estate, its presence aligns with common practices in luxury real estate. As investigations into Hackman's mansion continue, more details may emerge. But for now, the tunnel remains a unique yet practical part of his estate's design.